Hey everyone, this is Kelsey at Owl HQ. I'm here with a tech tip for you. I always like to start out my tech tips with some real world application. So in this example, I want you to imagine that you are maybe working on a grant application or perhaps you're drafting a policy. And in these kind of documents, it's a good idea to have a footer with a page number and the name of the document so that the recipient, if they print out your document, they have a way of organizing it and keeping it together. So let's see if this sounds familiar to you. You have a document here. I've titled this Anywhere Public Library Circulation Policy, and I just have a bunch of lorem ipsum filler text here. And down here is the footer. What I used to do before I learned this trick myself is I would type my footer and then I would use the tab button on the keyboard. And I would hit tab until the title looks more or less centered. And then I would do the same thing and hit tab on the page number until it was more or less at the right side of the page. And that's all well and good, but what happens if you decide that you want to change the content of the footer? So maybe instead of just circulation policy, I want to say that this is the Anywhere Public Library circulation policy. And now you can see that my footer looks really messed up. So I would have to backspace, tab, keep messing with this until it looks centered and right aligned for the page number. There's an easier way to align your footers so that the text is in the middle and the page number is on the right hand side, no matter what you do to the footer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so we're going to start off in Google Docs, and then I will show you the same trick in Microsoft Word later in the video. Now, there's two important things to point out before we get started. The first is that the trick I'm showing you right now is going to apply to a document that's 8.5 by 11 inches, which is a standard piece of paper, a standard document in the US. And also the margins I'm working with right now are 1 inch, top, bottom, left, and right. This still works if you're using different margins. For example, if you're using 0.75 inch margins or 0.5 inch margins, but the exact numbers that I'm going to show you for the alignment would be a little bit different. But you can kind of play around with the alignment on your documents if you're using different size paper or if you're using different margins, and you can come up with something that looks good for you. The second thing is that when you are applying this trick, you want to make sure that you are in the footer of the document. Your cursor needs to be in the footer. So right now my cursor is kind of just wherever in this paragraph. So you want to double click and make sure that the footer bar shows here. That just shows me that I'm going to be adjusting the alignment of the footer only and not the rest of the document. And there's actually a third thing that you'll need to do before you apply this trick as well. And that is you need to see the ruler at the top of your document. If you don't see it, just go over here to the View menu and then click Show Ruler. And as long as there's a check mark next to Show Ruler, it should appear at the top. Okay, so we are in our footer, and we are going to right-click on the number 3. Remember, this is for the 1 inch margins. If you're using different margins or a different size paper, the numbering is going to be different. But for us, we are going to right-click the number 3, and then left click Add Center Tab Stop. And that places a blue diamond over the number 3. And then for the page number being aligned on the right, you can try to right click here at 6.5 inches if you want. I just prefer to not mess with this margin. I just right click on the number 6 and then do Add Right Tab Stop. And that adds a little blue left facing arrow. Now, if you misclicked, so if I accidentally did the the center tab stop to the left of the number 3, it's not a big deal. Just left click on it and hold and then drag it until it says 3.00 and then let go. And that's all there is to it. So what you do now is you come back down here to your footer, place your mouse cursor to the left of your footer text, and then you just have to press tab once. And circulation policy is going to go straight to the middle of the document, thanks to this center tab stop up here. And then the same thing for the page number. Place your mouse cursor to the left of the page number, press tab once, and it goes all the way to the right side of the screen. And the beauty of this is, if I decide that I want my footer to say Anywhere Public Library Circulation Policy, the alignment of my page number doesn't matter anymore. Because of this right tab stop, it's always going to stay on the same alignment as that right tab stop, no matter what I do over here in the middle of the document. If you decide that you don't want these center tab or right tab stops anymore, all you have to do is left click and hold and then drag down so that your mouse is no longer on the ruler, and then let go. You can see that it's going to mess around with my footer alignment down here, but that's okay. Same thing with the number 6. Just click, drag down, and let go, and then those alignments no longer apply. All right, so here we are in Microsoft Word. I have deleted the footer because I want to show you something that will save you some frustration when you're doing Microsoft Word footers in the future. One of my biggest frustrations with them is that, let's say I'm typing my footer and then I decide, oh yeah, I didn't have a page number. So go to page number, bottom of page, and then right-hand alignment. It deletes what you just typed in the footer. And what you can do to combat that is, instead of using the bottom of page number, just do current position and then plain number, and it will add the page number, but it won't delete what you've already typed in your footer. So with Word, instead of right-clicking on the ruler, what you're going to do is use the Insert Alignment tab button instead. The only thing to note is that you want to have your mouse pre-positioned for this. So if we're going to be inserting the center tab alignment, we want to have the mouse in front of circulation policy, and then go up to Insert Alignment tab, Center, and OK. And it's going to put our footer in the exact middle of the document now. And then same thing with the page number. Place your mouse cursor to the left of it, Insert Alignment tab, and then click Right, and OK. And again, if I start typing more, Anywhere Public Library, it stays in perfect alignment. And that is it for this tech tutorial. I hope that this is helpful to you and will save you a little bit of time and frustration when you are composing documents in the future. Thanks for watching.